All right, guys, I want to welcome you to another episode of Do Work Podcast. Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things motivation, mindfulness, entrepreneurship, and living life on your terms and living your best life possible. Today is no different. We are in our 31 days of motivation and mindfulness series. Today is day 22. And this episode is titled Team No Sleep. So, if you've been following me for a while, especially people who've been following me for probably 10 years now, 10, 11 years now, I am a firm believer in sleep. Uh, it's just sometimes there's just so much to do. So the sleep may take the back burner. But there are a couple things I want to talk about with the Team No Sleep thing. I am 100% pro hustle, pro grind, getting things done by any means necessary. And sometimes to do that, the sleep must suffer. It's just what it is. Uh, Anybody who has ambition or needs to get things done knows that sometimes sleep suffers. Now, can you go without sleep like forever, ever, amen? No, you cannot. It goes in spurts, bouts, waves, depending on what you're working on and what you need at that moment. So I had to look this up. So during Hell Week, allegedly, Navy SEALs only sleep 4 hours a night during Hell Week, if that. During Hell Week, they're up the rest of the week. They're training. They're running drills. They're getting crushed by waves, shooting, running, gunning. So the body can function at a high level without sleep, but it cannot function for an extended period of time without sleep. So I say this to say, when you are pursuing and working on your goals, sometimes sleep will suffer. When I am in a grind season, and some people feel like I'm always in the grind season. No, there are times where I really do get to sleep. You just don't see it, and I'm not trying to film the shit because I'm sleeping. I don't care what social media thinks. I do sleep, but when I'm in my grind season and the sleep is minimal, and I'm talking 4 hours a night, it's temporary. That is not the end all. That is not my go-to, because let's be honest, to function, to think, to do, to grow, to rejuvenate the body, you have to rest. You have to rest. There's just no getting around it. I've gone weeks, sometimes maybe a month or so. I can go on minimal sleep, and I'm talking 3, 4 hours before I'm just like stupid. Um, but when we talk about being productive, there comes a point where you're on autopilot and you're not necessarily being creative. You're not necessarily doing thought. Like your thoughts are just trash. You're not processing properly. It's kind of like your brain becomes a jammed up computer. And it's important to make time to sleep. I tell people all the time when we talk about like our brains and brain health, the three most important things, and in this order for me, are sleep, hydration, and nutrition. Now, as a person who struggles with getting adequate sleep, and it's mostly just because I'm always thinking, working, and doing, there are certain things I've learned to do to attempt, not always successful, but attempt to turn my brain off. Because when we talk about happiness and we talk about living your best life and we talk about crushing goals, believe it or not, sleep is part of that process. So all you Team No Sleep people, don't let people trick you into thinking they just never sleep ever. Yes, I function on minimal sleep, but it's only for extended periods of time. It's not forever, ever, and ever. It's not maintainable. It's not sustainable, and it can't be the end all. So when we talk about sleep, what's important? Like I said, the three things are actually getting good restful sleep, hydration, and nutrition. If any one of those are off, your brain gets stupid. It turns into mush. You can't process information. You can't make good decisions. And in life and in entrepreneurship, the goal is to always make the best decision possible. And we cannot do that if we cannot process information. And if you're sleep deprived, it makes it really tough to do. I know lack of sleep and the hustle and the grind have become somewhat of a badge of honor. And I know you're probably like, that sounds odd coming from you, Diva. I hear you. I mean, everybody has to figure out how much sleep they need. Now, I will say all that 8-10 hour shit is ridiculous. That's damn near half your day, half your life. That's just too long. I gotta agree with most people. I'm more of a 5-hour person. If I can get 5, I feel like a rock star. Less than 5, I am not happy. But 8, 9, 10 hours a day is just insane. That's literally a third of your life. 8 hours is a third of your life. Sleeping. I just don't understand. I can't process that, but that's just me. Arnold Schwarzenegger said one time, he says, everybody says they need 8 hours plus of sleep. He said, get 6, sleep faster. And if you get good restful sleep, 6 can work. I mean, 6 is ideal. I can't shut down that quickly, but 6 is ideal. And I do take naps. I try to nap because if there's a break in the day and I can still 30 minutes to an hour, I will definitely take it to kind of try to keep the sleep meter on the upside. It's hard to do, but you try to keep it on the upside. But the point of this whole episode, because we're talking about not only being motivated to get things done, but mindful, is that do not underestimate the benefits of you getting adequate rest. Do not. And again, I know social media paints this picture of, 24/7 grind season, but even the best have to sleep. Even if it's only a few hours, you have to make time to do it, because if your mind is sharp, you make better decisions. Better decisions can help improve your quality of life. If you make shitty decisions, then, maybe things don't work out the same. They just don't. I'm recording this podcast now, and I probably have been running on 4 hours, honestly, for a few weeks now. I think I got a little bit of sleep in Chicago just because I had a later start, but I've been running on 4 hours for a while now, just because it's been so much to do. What I want to encourage you to do is make sleep a priority. Now, again, none of us are perfect. And like I said, I clearly struggle with it. And not necessarily because I have trouble sleeping, but I'm just always working. I don't know. No. But I do know this. It is important to get, and brain health is just important as your physical health. It helps bring clarity. It keeps the stress down. It keeps things out, because everybody's stressed out and anxious now. And a lot of that comes from lack of sleep. So 3 things we can do, again, to help improve that sleep. 1, know that it is necessary. It's not just laying down, but it's getting good restful sleep. Sometimes I listen to like like waves and shit, ocean sounds, out in the rainforest, soundtracks. I'll listen to meditation stuff sometimes before I go to bed if I find I've been having a really rough time, so I can get a deeper, more restful sleep. Hydration is key. If my hydration is off, I notice I don't sleep as well at all. So if you're trying to get better, deeper, more restful sleep, it's important to stay hydrated. Lastly, nutrition. I mean, if you're eating crappy, especially before bed, what usually happens is you go to lay down and your body is just breaking down everything you've eaten. It's just breaking down food. That's what your body is doing. So if you can, you want to try to stop eating minimum 1 hour before bed. Best case scenario, 2 hours. So when you're resting and you're not digesting food from earlier in the day. And the last thing, you know what I forgot to say? The last thing when we talk about sleep and getting good sleep and restful sleep and being mindful of that, and because remember, this affects how our brain processes and how we do work, is our fucking phones. Like the blue light from your phone. So I don't know about you, I take my phone and I turn it over because I feel like it just turns on its own half the time. I turn it over so the blue light is not disrupting me in the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep. Because the crazy part is we're on our phone so much that blue light sends a signal to the brain and it's like, we up now. So if you can, I know everybody can't turn the phone off, but you definitely need to turn off them notifications so it's not like beep, 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 bzz, bzz, all night. And then darken that screen so that blue light is not on and bothering you. All right, guys. So 31 days of motivation and mindfulness. When you're hustling and you're on your grinding, you're motivated. Yes, sometimes sleep suffers. I get it. But no, that is a short-term situation. It's very short-term, not very long-lived at all. We want to make sure to be mindful and improve our sleep health because we need a sharp functioning brain to make rock star decisions. That's really what it comes down to. So what are we going to do? 1, try to get deep, restful sleep. 2, we want to stay hydrated. 3, we want to make sure we eat good quality foods because they fuel our brain. And lastly, even though I didn't give you a 4 in the previous ones, I'm giving it to you now. Put that damn phone down and turn it over so the blue light is not disrupting your sleep. All right? You got it? I hope you got it. I know. If you got it, type, yeah, Dave, I got it. Put it in the comments. Yeah, Dave, I got it. All right, guys. Oh, no, wait. Let's take it a step further. Put team no sleep in the comments because everybody's going to want to know what the hell you're talking about. So if you got it, you understand the words coming out of my mouth. Put team no sleep in the comments. All right, guys, I want to thank you. This is what happens when you don't get a lot of sleep, right? I want to thank you for listening to the Do Work Podcast. Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things motivation, mindfulness, entrepreneurship, living life to the fullest and living life the best terms, on your terms, best terms possible. Make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. Go over to deeperriches.com and subscribe. We send out bi-monthly newsletters. And lastly, if you haven't subscribed to this podcast, either do it on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Make sure to subscribe and share. And don't be afraid to send me questions, send me feedback. All right. All right, guys. Again, Do Work Podcast, Diva Richards. Remember, nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. Let's go.